Okay, good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. Let's check in, make sure we're good on YouTube. All right, looking good. All right, so my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. It is April 9th, 2021. Let's go ahead and get started. Looking at our SPY, we have had something occurring over the past 2-week sessions that is pretty rare in most market conditions. We've had a scenario where the SPY has been making subsequent higher lows every single session. So some days we'll have pretty flat consolidation and the higher low is relatively insignificant. Sometimes we'll have big gap ups and trend days. Those higher lows are relatively significant. We do have some big pushes in the market. And we are getting to the point where the market is feeling a bit overheated. It's obviously far removed from the 20, the 50, any sort of relatively dynamic moving average. And overall, things just seem like they need to pull back. But we haven't seen it. We haven't gotten the pullback yet. So in an effort to try and find some opportunity in this market, we're still short term looking for some sort of top to be put in, an area where the market says, okay, I want to sell a little bit of those gains, pull back to support, and then ultimately decide if I want to go higher or to start to break down from this point. And the issue that we're running into is whenever the market gets this overheated and leaves a bunch of gaps below us, the structure of the market is relatively shaky. So it is a risk to anyone who is long for the market to not only pull back, but to also fill some of those gaps in a relatively aggressive pullback. And the one example I wanted to bring up in recent history, if I can zoom in correctly, is sort of a scenario like this, where we had this run up in the markets. We even had the potential for some sort of turnaround to get us back to some sort of support area, dynamic, or just a relative high. And the market chose not to pull back. The market stayed in a consolidation mode and then broke higher. And when we saw that happen, we got multiple days where we were forming, at the very least, higher lows. Doesn't have to be higher highs every time, but we just kept making more and more progress to the upside. And ultimately, it is challenging because as a long trader, you don't want to step in near the top and then have that harsh pullback forcing you to stop out depending on your risk tolerance. You also don't want to go short too early because you're shorting against the trend and you're sort of looking for at least a reason to be short, an area to be short. So the challenge here is how do you manage this if you're trading something like the SPY or anything that follows the SPY relatively closely? Well, one thing you can do, depending on how you decide to trade or what tools you have in your trade box, you can sort of scale into some sort of alternate thesis play. Ideally, a pullback back to an area of support, and keep things small. Ultimately, you don't want to get hurt if the market were to go parabolic and just break higher and higher, but you also don't want to risk a long because the pullback can be harsher than you may be able to tolerate. So that's one idea. For those who know options, obviously defining your risk using different option strategies could be a way to facilitate a trade idea into this 9-day sort of upward momentum that we're seeing in the markets. So something like selling some sort of premium against the top side whenever we do start to see the pull down, or just buying into the uptrend with a defined risk strategy, some sort of spread or just a reversal alternate thesis kind of play where your risk is defined by the amount of premium you're willing to pay. So those are some opportunities here. And ultimately, what we're looking for is this market to do something sort of drastic. At this point, the market's definitely extended. We have to recognize that this is a pretty rare occurrence in the SPY and in some markets that have gone higher than expected. And we're looking for sort of this anomalous event where the potential for the market to pull back and fill gaps can occur quickly. So we could see sort of, some people call it like a snapback or a rubber band sort of effect where market gets a bit too overstretched. We're far away from any sort of mean distribution, standard deviations. Some people use Bollinger, Keltner channels, whatever it happens to be. A lot of those metrics get a bit too overstretched. And at some point, the market will want to return back to value and to the mean before ultimately continuing higher. So let's see, my audio is distorted. Is that in the currents for everybody, or is how is my audio this time? Okay, so getting mostly good and okay. So maybe a refresh on the audio for anyone who thinks it sounds a little off. So here's our thesis. We're at a point where the market is extended. We know that the potential for a pullback is there. And what I've attempted to do is try and find some sort of upside resistance zone based on previous inflection points in this channel to see if we are at any sort of potential resistance. And ultimately, the SPY is around an area where you'd expect a pullback. We have not seen any sort of warning sign, any sort of selling momentum on the bears yet. I kind of expected yesterday to be one of those days. We did not see it. The market was actually a bit flat throughout most of the day and actually pushed higher into the evening sessions. But ultimately, this is where we are. The market continues its drift to the upside. It is leaving multiple daily gaps below us, and that is ultimately a risk if we were to snap back or to pull back harshly on the markets. So mostly just things to consider when putting on risk in this market. As we get extended and as a bunch of stocks also get extended, everything can once again correlate and potentially pull to the downside, or it can simply drift higher and higher with sort of very little room for pullbacks and very hard to define risk overall. So we just have to know what condition we're in this market and just trade accordingly. So the SPY on the 4-hour, I've tried to at least draw against these inflection points. We're definitely in an area of resistance. We're going to see if the market can pull back from here, if it's just going to keep building those stair steps higher and higher. And looking at where we are from the value perspective, we can see how this huge gap that we have below us is the risk of going long in the case where we lose this shelf. So we had like a 2-day value zone that got built in a range, and we just built this over time. Market's pushing higher from there. The risk is if we ever lose that shelf, there's a big void of value that can lead us back to the 400 price. So ultimately, bulls have to continue to perpetuate using this structure, and if they ever lose that structure, if it's ever a breakthrough of roughly 405, the target from this indicator's perspective is about 400. So that's where we are. That's where we sit. We will see how much higher we can go before that pullback occurs. Some reasons to potentially think that this market is due for a pullback is things like the Qs. We noted that the Qs had this strong bull flag breakout. We have at this point hit the normal target for the breakout, where you extend the low to the top of the flagpole high, and that's sort of a doubling of the range that was built into the consolidation, so you get that 2 times extension. So that target has been hit. The risk that we're noting in the Qs is that we have this COVID low, this sort of pre-election low, and the breakdown of this slanted support. And as we go into the 4-hour, we can see that some of the price action in the pre-market is actually respecting that level fairly well. You know, without adjusting that line, it is already acting as a predictive resistance point in this pre-market. So the Qs, and most notably big tech, has brought the SPY higher, along with a lot of our other sectors holding or being strong. You know, consumer staples, a big note, communications, a big note. Basically all of our quote-unquote big tech names have been strong. But if the Qs pull back harshly, if they choose to, instead of just do a higher high, higher low setup and just all of a sudden dump from this point, then we have to expect the SPY to take some of that brunt as well, even though it is more diversified. So the Qs on the 4-hour, we see the pre-market is starting to pull away from that level, and we have on our 1-hour chart, 30-day, we have our noted volume profile where we have a little bit of value from the previous after-hour session and yesterday's session. We have this nice shelf right here where it's a nice standard deviation looking bell curve. These tend to be pretty good areas of support, so that one's good. But if we lose that, if it ever pulls back harder than that, we have things like this daily gap and this pocket of value, similar to the SPY. I've gone ahead and marked that with sort of a grayed out box just to show that it is a gap. So the lack of value there means that if you're a bull, you don't really ever want to lose that area, because the pullback will be down to the next area of value, and that's roughly 325. So this is a good spot to sort of consolidate and then potentially break higher. But right now we ran into that support turn resistance, the daily uptrend slanted support. We ran into that from an extended state. So at this point, the target is to the downside. That inflection is present in terms of a trade idea. So we'll see how that plays out today. I'm not necessarily looking long in the Qs given what we're seeing in the pre-market, but certainly at this point it has pulled back a lot already. So I'd be looking for more of maybe a retest of that area, or at least some sort of well-defined risk to reward, with the risk being the pre-market high at this point. And actually that's after hours high. I can't really tell if it's pre-market or after hours, but it looks like after hours we hit that high, and then now we're trading lower in pre-market. So that's where we are with the Qs. IWM, let's see. Daily, we did see a little bit of a push in the IWM. We're trying to hold the 50 at this time, barely closing above. And we have this slanted support that the market is unwilling to lose on any sort of breakdown. What I don't like about this posture is, one, all of the other indexes are at resistance and are roughly due for a pullback. But two, this market has really not performed very well in some of this bullish context that we've seen across the board. So in the likelihood that some of these other index products pull back, regardless of how sharply they do, I would maybe look to see if this support is lost, and then we get a back test for maybe some downside in the near term. Relatively hard to trade overall. We're definitely in sort of a flat mean sort of zone, at least with regards to value. So the price action is oscillating back and forth. We're not seeing a ton of upside, and even to the downside, we're not necessarily seeing a big push to the downside. It's just, I would call it flat, but we are seeing volatility in between. And based on the value, you know, the fact that we're sitting roughly near 220 in this product, it goes to show that this product really hasn't done anything for quite a while. If I pull it back to, let me just do 3 months and take off this study. I'll just draw a line right through 220 and just show that, you know, basically this has been sort of a flat zone for quite a while. We haven't done much to the upside or the downside, and we're just kind of up and down throughout time. So we'll see if we get anything changing in this area. Structurally, we're trying to hold on, but the fact that this has not pushed higher with SPY and Qs higher tells me that there's something risk adverse going on in here, and the market is unwilling to buy into all of the strength across the board. So some things from yesterday, and I still want to keep these on watch. Things like gold and silver. Still want to see if they can start to break through this range. And I'm going to pull it back to the daily to show where this range came from. So we had a lot of consolidation back in early 2020. We're back in that same price range where we got this push and a double bottom retest. We're pushing higher at this point, and some people use this as sort of like a W reversal structure. To me, it's just a range, and I'm seeing the range start to break out. So if you want to consider this as a trade, you're definitely looking to target a 2 times extension of the range, and that's still in play even at this point, as we said, at the top of the range. Silver, same basic idea. We did see a pull down and then a full recovery from a point of inflection in the short-term daily chart. So we pulled through, we're holding above the 200, and ultimately this market's getting a little tight. So I'd be looking for some momentum outside of this range to really showcase the fact that this is willing to go higher. Structurally, we also have this sort of retracement that's trying to break out, where you have this relative high, multiple tests of this downtrend line that have failed over time. And this is your structure where the market sold off into a support zone, and now we're trying to break out of it. So there's a few sort of trade-based patterns in this area. Obviously, I'd like to see gold be the leader and then silver to follow suit. But sometimes silver is actually the outperformer in a bullish or at least a relatively neutral metals market. And that would be indicative of our dollar continuing to pull back. We saw a little bit of an up day in the dollar yesterday. The equities markets did not really care about that. Or actually, wait. No, this is pre-market. My bad. We actually saw a down day in the dollar yesterday. So today we're actually opening a little bit higher. I'd want to see if the equities market actually takes this into account. I thought we opened higher yesterday. Another thing to always keep in mind, the volatility has been compressed significantly in this market, leading to potentially some of this upside momentum that we're seeing, but also just there appears to be no significant hedging at this time. And when I look at this, I kind of look at this as an opportunity if you are interested in hedging. Obviously, you want to give yourself enough time, but these are some of the lowest VIX and volatility prices and short-term volatility we've seen in a while. So getting some sort of hedge on, knowing that the market's extended, knowing that the risk is a sharp pullback, these are all protective ideas that you obviously don't want your hedge to necessarily make you a ton of money, but you do want it to keep your account position risk defined. You know that the market's extended, you're not necessarily taking profit, but you are defining a hedge in the case that it does pull back. And last but not least, back to our bonds. Bonds have put in this double high, at least on the 10-year. We're opening up a little bit higher today. So once again, tech has been outperforming as bonds have been pulling back, and most notably big tech. I keep saying tech, but big tech is sort of the key. We are opening a bit higher. So, with everything that I've put together, tech has that resistance, things are extended, there's risk to the downside. If we see the bonds really catch a bid today, the yield on the bonds, then potentially tech is not the place to necessarily be considering a bullish thesis. Because while the correlation has broke, there is ultimately pressure in a higher yield intraday or just daily environment on the big tech sector. And just to note, with XLY being our big tech ETF, this is technology for the S&P 500. Stocks like Apple and Microsoft sit inside of this ETF. They have been very strong over the past couple of sessions. Microsoft at all-time highs. Apple having a great push from that consolidation zone around 120. It's already at 130. So that was, some great trades that we've made and called out over time. But tech is breaking all-time highs. While we are looking for that pullback, we have to be careful that there's still some pros and cons from the charting perspective as to whether or not this is going to actually pull back at all. If we look at our 4-hour, ultimately this breakout is not finished from the perspective of extension. We had a nice pennant that formed in tech. It formed over the course of roughly a $15 range, from high to low, and the breakout has potential to hit the recent all-time high, along with extend another $5 to $10 in this ETF. That is the potential of these breakouts, at least based on normal range trading rules. So while I am hesitant to go long, I think the pullback here could be muted. The Qs are going to be the key. If everything is selling in the Qs, especially other stocks like Tesla, Amazon, maybe some communication selling in Google and Facebook. And this is more like an intraday strategy, not necessarily over the course of days, just a pullback in all of these stocks. If everything's kind of leaning in the same direction, then that can be a great trade idea into today, sort of a relatively short QQQ position. So that said, that is pretty much all I have for today. Some things from yesterday, just to kind of wrap things up. It did look like Bitcoin put in sort of a short-term bear trap. We lost roughly the 56,000 area. We pulled down another 1,000 on the BTC USD chart, and then it looks like we sort of immediately bought back up from there. So that is obviously the risk of some of those slanted support and resistance zones. It's more important for horizontal support to be lost and back tested. And because we did not do that against 56K, Bitcoin actually had a pretty decent bullish day yesterday, with stocks like Mara, Khan, and Riot performing well amidst that environment. So with that said, keeping some of these stocks in mind, looking at opportunities as we get extended. McDonald's actually played itself out well at all-time highs. It actually gave us a nice selling day against that known resistance area. It was a bit extended, but ultimately could have gone higher with no issue. I'm still watching HD to find where the top of this monster move is. I'm mostly doing this as a challenge at this point because this thing has been on an absolute tear for quite a while. And while we did see a pullback, we still have not lost the 20 or any sort of dynamic support on the 4-hour. So this thing is extended. Things are sort of getting into that oversold category in different time frames, but the momentum continues. And once again, we need to see the market pull back for any of this to actually take place. Mike has an echo. Yeah, if the audio is bad, I recommend just resetting the audio or resetting the room. Most people are indicating that the audio is fine. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, I've got my short list of stocks I'm keeping on watch. I'm sticking to mostly S&P and QQQ because they are at potential inflection points. And the opportunity here is if you have a strong stock and the market pulls back, you'd expect that market to sort of track with the SPY. If you have a weak stock, something that hasn't performed well in this bullish context, you can look for those things to potentially break support and actually provide bearish momentum to the downside because they haven't performed yet, and unless something changes, you know, they would continue to underperform. So we'll see how that all plays out. Keeping, you know, your big tech names, your Teslas, your Amazons on watch. A lot of these things would have to correlate for stuff like the QQQ to really roll over. And at this point, you know, we just haven't seen it. There's been a lot of upside momentum. So that's pretty much it for today. Let's see if there's any questions or, yeah, Coinbase IPO. Yeah, there's definitely some interest in the crypto sector. We'll see how that IPO sentiment plays out, but I think with a bullish crypto sector, you'll have sort of a bullish correlation in any crypto-related stocks. Looks like pretty much it. I'm getting lots of thanks and happy Friday. So I want to just say, you know, once again, big thanks to everybody. Really appreciate all the feedback and sentiment that I'm getting. Continue to refine and enhance your analysis using different tools, correlations, and indicators, and ultimately you will see much more into just general price. You'll be looking at volume and value, support and resistance, momentum versus consolidation, range expansion and contraction. These are all things you can put into play, each of them with their own trade opportunity. And if you can just roll that into multiple trade ideas, you know, you can really become successful as a trader in this market. So with that said, I'm Jared. This has been Engineering the Markets. Today is Friday. I'm going to go ahead and take a nice breather for now, and hope y'all trade safe and have a happy weekend. Thanks.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market show. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Good morning, buddy. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. All right, guys. Happy
Before we get
Friday.
into it, happy Friday.
Yes,
Before we get into it, hit those likes for Jared.
absolutely,
He's
guys.
just killing it. So thank you, Jared.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Jared, for again. It's amazing, amazing content we're getting from him. Guys, let's get into it. Let's see what we had yesterday on our list. Starting with Apple. Again, Apple had an amazing couple of days here. Another great day yesterday. Took a bit to get going. Let's get into our 5 minute time frame here, and we'll look at yesterday's action. Pre-market looked okay, right? So we saw a little action there, but then right at the open, you get a beautiful pop. It does get a little bit wild here, up and down for the most part. You do go through a little bit of a rough patch here, deciding on are we going to continue this uptrend or not. And then at 11:20, you see the pop right back above the VWAP, and then from there, never really look back, right? Holding on to the 9 and the 20 moving average to the entire rest of the market day there. So again, Apple continues to be very strong. Today they're pulling back a bit, not as much volume as we saw yesterday, but I think as Jared was mentioning earlier today, that's going to be a good one to keep on watch this morning as well. HOFV again, great strong pre-market action at the open. You just got slammed here a little bit right before the pre-market action. You see this drop coming in, and then just continues to just dump here, guys, all the way back down to their almost pre-market lows, I think. On that first was that half hour in. So again, no signs of strength there. You do get some kind of relief here quickly, and then just right back down. Then from there, it just became pure. This is garbage here. After this, it's just nothing going on. Volume dries up, and it's just you don't get no action there after that. Mara, guys, Mara is one of these stocks that
That's what she said.
yeah. Mara is one of these stocks that it puts in a beautiful, decent chart pattern here. We're looking at this now, but their price action, and Andrew confirmed this too yesterday. He was looking at it. He also said their price action just looks funky. I think it's the way the flow of volume comes in. It's just not fluid. It's not smooth. And we talked about this a couple of days ago as well. When it had volume, it was gapping up. It did run up, broke through the high of the day around noon or 11:30. And again, I remember specifically because that was a trade I wanted to take. Just the price action looks so funky. Yesterday, same thing. A lot of breakout, nice, beautiful pop here. It's just the price action is a little bit strange on this one. So, but again, if you look at it now, it looks very, very good. If you were able to take a trade here and read the price action, you could have turned out pretty well here. Also, CCL, man, CCL just rough pre-market action, okay pre-market action. We knew it was not somewhat in play. It was just kind of just hanging out there. It was up a little bit, but then at the open, something happens here, and it just slams down, guys, all the way down to 27 from 29.30ish. Just a huge drop there. You do get some bottoming action over here. It does do beautiful bounce off the 27.80. Does find some consolidation period right below the VWAP, and then you get a little bit of a reversal here. I don't want to say almost a double bottom, very close, but again, just some bottoming action here after such a huge sell down on CCL. So good action there, but this happens so fast. Like their first 5 minute got extended so quick. It's difficult to chase after that after you see such a drop like this, knowing that these stocks are known to bounce back very aggressively, especially where this market has been. Here's LI. LI was just pure chop, guys. I didn't see anything great on this one. And then volume dried up pretty quickly on this. And you can see here how just nasty it was for most of the day there. Even the morning was not great. Rice, we had a beautiful, beautiful pre-market action on this one. We got a nice, beautiful pop right at the open. From there, it does slam down. I believe, did it get halted? I don't recall if it got halted a couple of times or not. Maybe I'm confusing it with another one. But again, from there, pre-market was where the action was at. This was really, really clean, guys. We talked about some of these levels here as they were happening. And then at the market open, you just get a lot of chop run here. You can see here also from 12 to 1, from 12 to the entire rest of the day, just not doing a whole lot there on Rice. So we also, I know we're very excited about Rice. Not Rice, Very was just insane. Yeah, actually, this is one that got halted.
Yeah.
Yes, this is one we're watching. It was just insane. Got halted at 16:26. And if you remember correctly, Brian was calling like the play-by-play on this halt, and it was because he was in it. He was in this halt. It turned out pretty good for him after this thing gapped up and opened up almost $1 plus here, and it shot up a little bit more after that. So, but again, it was very, very difficult to trade this one. So it was not an easy one. All right, that is all we had yesterday. Norm, what are some of the things happening today that we can recap?
Yeah, buddy. So we've got the SPY at all-time highs. The Q's trying to get back to all-time highs that they put in. I mean, it's just under it that they put in, I don't know, what, early February, late January, early February, I think. Got earnings season starting next week, so it's not a little surprising to see some of these names sitting here. Maybe people are waiting for see how earnings go. Should be interesting. As far as data goes, we've got producer price index came out at 8:30. Wholesale inventories 10 a.m. Neither one too big of a deal. That 8:30 number didn't do much of anything. So, it's been nice, man. It's been like a vacation this week. Back to old times when the gappers list wasn't the entire screen. You can actually kind of focus on some things and not feel like, I don't know.
I fully agree. Cool. I mean, we've been able to go through both for the entire list here.
I know.
A couple of times. So we've been able to kind of chop this up pretty good there. So life is good. All right, let's get to it, guys. A little bit on the red, a little more on the green side this morning. Let's get into it and see what we have for today. Let's remove our list here from yesterday, and we will do some rows and get to it. So a couple of low flows leading the way this morning. CELC, this one we've seen in our list before. It doesn't trade very well. Today they're up 1.6 million shares traded right now. So that's let me see here. Yeah, that's okay, but I don't know. Price action looks all over the place right now. I just don't know how clean this is going to be. So let me just get this mic out of the way. It's blocking my montage here. Sorry about that. Okay, that's a little better there. All right, so we'll see how that is going to play out there. I don't like it, so I'm gonna skip on it for now. AFMD.
They did. That one is. I watched this for a second.
Yeah.
It looks. I mean, it gets pretty spready at times. A CELC. It does have a catalyst. When I was looking at it, the spread was going to as much as 50 cents here and there. Mm-hmm. So just be really careful if you do that. Low float, obviously. Biotech that had preliminary data from a phase 1 trial for, I think, breast cancer drugs. So just be careful on that.
Yeah. You know what? With that catalyst, it can be our low flow of the day if it gets a little cleaner. But again, like Norm said, just be very careful. All right, AFMD here. They are up 33%, 5.6 million shares traded right now. Nice little big pop here this morning. They are not a low flow stock. They're actually sitting at 108 million. Lower price, so it's usually a little bit harder to trade at times. Let's put it on here. Let's see what this is going to do today. Norm, any major catalyst?
Yeah, it's a German biotech that had some phase 1 data of something they're doing.
Okay. All right, we'll keep it on here. Let's see how it goes. I don't like the fact that they're not US based, they're foreign, so that could be a little bit sketchy there. On the price action, GLSI this morning, they are up 26%. Nice big pop for them this morning, 620. This daily doesn't look all that great. I think we've seen this one on our list before. I don't think I ever traded it, but their pre-market action is not that bad as far as the actual pattern here. Now, what I am concerned with is the spread here and the prices we're seeing. Some of these candles are easily $1 plus. So that could be a bit concerning. And the flow is
1.6 million shares. Biotech.
Ooh.
Biotech news. Be careful.
You know what? It's just this 1.6, guys. This 1.6 here on a price on a stock
that's
no way 64.
Touch,
yeah,
it could. No. You could get destroyed. This one, I also saw really big spreads at times. It's 1 penny right now, but it can change in a heartbeat to 50 cents. You could be just out. I mean, especially with a float like that. Just be,
Yeah, and that's the thing. You get that big spread that opens up. The low flow can move this stuff $2, $3 in seconds. I mean, this is the way people blow up their accounts, doing stuff like this, right? They could be doing well with their mid to large flow stocks, sticking to their niche, what they're used to, and they're doing good. They come play around with this garbage over here, and they hurt themselves, right? So let's avoid that this Friday. LHDX, this one's 29 million shares flow, but doesn't look good. Pre-market's really crappy at the moment. They're daily. Yeah, I'm not liking what I'm seeing here, guys. We'll skip on this one. Also, 16 million shares flow, so a little bit on the lower side We would have loved to see more volume
28.
on this one. It's 28.
LHDX is 28 million.
Okay.
28.7. I think you're seeing
I see what
SOHU
happened.
below
Yep.
it.
Yep. So 29. So it's not a low flow stock, but again, still not looking great. So we'll skip it. Sohu, this one stepped up here over the one I was looking at, 16 million. And this one right now, 233. It is up 12.2. They're daily really, really bad, guys. This is not looking good. I don't know if it has potential. Throw it back out to me if you see something great. I'm going to skip it for now. Fubo's looking good today. I like their daily too, as far as this support area they've been having here around 20. So that's nice there. Possible breakout. Do they have the volume today to get that going? Let's see. 955 right now. They're up 10%. Good pre-market action. Yeah, and we traded this one before in the past. It has put in some pretty good trading action for us when it is in play. Today, that might be that day. It's a nice little pop here up against the area of resistance from this consolidation. Let's see if a breakout is in the books for them. ASO this morning, pre-market action, okay, 7.2, not so good. The daily's really crappy as well, guys. Just look at this here. It just doesn't look good for the most part. What flow is this? 31 million. So not a low flow stock, but again, I think we could find something better today. Levi, I think these guys have some kind of earnings or some announcement.
Yeah, they had earnings last night.
Okay.
This one always gets me. This company is so old. They were founded 10 years before the slaves were freed in the Civil War. I mean, just
old. Yeah.
But it just went public 2 years ago. Well, for the second time, I think. But anyway, nevertheless, it always amuses me when we see this one pop up. I've never found it to trade very well.
It doesn't trade very well, even with a catalyst, because that's usually when we see it. We never see it unless there's any kind of news. It just doesn't get the volume. It doesn't get the movement. And yeah, we'll skip on this. Mara is on here, guys. I mean, Mara. It's a love and hate with Mara because it looks good, but man, the volume just, if it could be a little bit cleaner on the price action. I'm still going to put it on here. I know Bitcoin's hot. Are there any other Bitcoin plays looking better? CAN is not getting anything. Mara's the only one really getting the volume. They're up 3.4 this morning. Their pre-market action. Okay, not better than yesterday.
I question how much more these have in them until Bitcoin proves it can hold 60,000.
I know. Yeah.
So,
I was reading something, hearing something on the radio where they say it's either gonna push and crush it really big, or it's just gonna have a huge rejection. But it's not gonna just stay here. So we'll see. It's interesting, that guy's perspective there. Here's another one. Riot also a little bit of volume, 312, 2.4 right now. So I'm not sure. We'll keep that on the side there. AMRS. What do we have here? This one not looking good. Pre-market is pretty bad at the moment. Daily's also bad. Nothing great. We'll skip to the next one. Ebon had a couple of interesting days here this week and last. So a couple of nice red big days there. This morning they're up 2.4 with a little bit of volume. Nice big block trade over here at 111,000 shares. So possible at best. Just a possible. I don't see anything all that great right now. So I do like, as bad as this daily is, right, with all the movement they have had, or the gaps up and gaps down, it almost looks foreign for a minute. This area we're sitting on is a great area of support. We've seen that time and time a few times here, get a little bit of a bounce and support there. So let's see if that's going to happen today. They're up 2.4 this morning. All right, gapping down, PRVB. This one is down huge, guys, 34%, lower than what we'd like to see on the daily volume there this morning. So that's causing their daily chart not to look great. Pre-market, it's not looking that exciting neither. Hopefully it can get better. I'm going to put it as a possible because I just love this big drop this morning. Definitely something's going on with these guys today.
Yeah, they're a biotech. They've got some issues with their license for diabetes drug.
All right, so that's not good, but we'll see what happens. JKS, again, this is the one that ran up like in September, and it went from 19 something all the way up to 89.
The straight line from the straight line from $20 to 90. It was ridiculous with like barely a red day in there. Yeah, that is the perfect finger to finger strategy stock.
Absolutely. I mean, that's got to be in their dictionary there. But after that,
and when it starts to do this, you sell.
Right, and that's all you have to do. I don't know why you guys are making this so difficult to trade. Buy here, sell here. Simple. All right. So with that said, you can tell it's Friday, and Norm and I are having some fun here.
I haven't even started drinking yet.
Oh man, it's gapping down today 9.4, 316. But again, it just can be difficult to trade at times. I do like the volume we're getting here, and that we're dropping again after trying to hold this support here at 38.91. I'm going to throw it on here because it can have some potential. You got to be very careful. The spread's looking okay right now. If this thing can move, notice how close these prices are: 37, 36, 35, 34. You know, it just went through a couple of bucks there in a very short field. So be very, very careful there. ONCT, this one, guys, is down 7.4, 171. I'm not liking what I'm seeing as far as the pre-market action. There's no movement here just yet, and their daily is horrible too. So we'll skip on this. GSL, ooh, this is even worse. So we'll quickly go through this. Not good. Rice, this was active yesterday. Today, their pre-market action not so great. Let's see what the second day does, though. I will be interested to see what their second day is going to look like today after gapping up so much yesterday. Not much volume going on right now. UCTT, no good, guys. Pre-market is pretty much dead. Their daily is horrible. Tiger, this one we've seen before. It could be a hit or miss. Today they're down 3.4, 178. I would have loved to see this break out of this 20, heading more towards the top side. It might keep bouncing around here with some choppiness. So, you know what? Let's just in case. Tiger, we'll put Tiger here as a possible. Norm, anything you like this morning? Not a lot looking great for this Friday so far.
Yeah, the golf course. No. So let's throw it to the room. Let's see what we have out there.
All right, excellent. Let's do that. Let's start here with, all right, who do we have? Jimmy, what are you looking at? CCL and PLTR. You know what? PLTR was yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I looked up PLTR, and they had what seems to be a good day, right? Obviously, we were not watching it. They had looks very nice here yesterday. So let's see today. What do we have here right now? 427,000 shares traded. Their pre-market action pretty much looking like yesterday. This is how it started. So if you're banking on probably getting a continuation here after this drop, they recover pretty well. Ended the day green. Maybe this could be. You know what? This looks actually better than some of the stuff we have on our secondary list. So we'll take a look at that. Heading down, you mentioned CCL as well. Huge drop yesterday. It did recover a little bit. Out of the gates, this thing just took off, found support at a previous area of support right on here. So today could be interesting. 1 million shares traded, though. I do like that on CCL. Can they continue with this momentum towards the upside? They are only up 1.3 right now, but that could be interesting. So CCL is on deck, guys. Let me do something here real quickly. Okay, there we go. So CCL is good. I'm just expanding my text in the chat so I can see more. All right, so CCL, a lot of you guys throwing out CCL. Yeah, guys, we have it on there. Very good. GME, GameStop, entertainment purposes only. No, I don't even see it being active as of right now. Even if you'd like to trade that stock right now, doesn't look like it has a lot going on for it. Twitter usually starts quiet for some days of this week. We've seen some quiet action. It just took off. Today they're pretty quiet, only 60,000. They're down a bit after a nice little streak of green days here. Yeah, you know, I'll wait for that to hit the scanners or for one of you guys to call it out. I don't see a whole lot on it right now. Now, if the market, we know the tech and all these other stocks have been bouncing back pretty aggressively. If the market runs up, we know who we're going to be looking at. One of them is Apple. This could be a good one, although Apple is selling down right now. That's looking interesting. Nice, some volume coming in there. But
all those 1 and 3 and 5 share orders going through.
Exactly. So we'll take a look at that one. If the market does decide to rip higher, especially the Qs. FWONK, this one is not good, guys. No, this is not good.
The spread on this is over $5. There's not been a share traded this morning.
No way. Not happening. Let's look at BA today, guys. Bad news for BA. What happened with BA?
They've asked some airlines to stop flying some 737s because of potential electrical issues. If I was going to call anything out, this would be one of them.
Man, if it's Boeing, I ain't going. Really, like, what is going on with these guys? All right, so this is down 1.4, guys. Definitely in play. We got a negative catalyst for them this morning.
Guys, when I'm that
336.
when I'm that absolute about saying no on something, it's not because I'm trying to be mean or anything like that. It's because that would just, you might as well just tear your money in half if you try to take a trade in that.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty bad. That's for sure. We're just trying to save you money, guys. That's what Norm's trying to do there. At NAKD here, this one, oh man, it's more of a penny stock. Yeah, so I don't like that. Piton, we haven't looked at Piton in some time. Piton right now, I don't see a whole lot going on there. I had a good day yesterday, but again, a lot of stocks did, right? But this looked actually very good. I would like to have seen how the price action was because Piton could be tricky at times. But again, yesterday, there's just so many stocks that ran up. Possible continuation today. I'm just not seeing it in the volume at the moment, so I'm going to skip on it for now. CCL we do have, so they got, okay, Flora suing us. Okay, so that's good. All right, so we got some credit issues being there. All right, cool. Mara we do have. I do have the one on there. ALPP. How are we doing on time? 8:50. Okay. ALPP. What do we have there? It's IPOing today. Excuse me. All right, so that's not up there yet. All right, so we'll skip on that one. I'm sorry. ALPP. That's not IPOing today. What is this? People talking about this? What's going on with it? I don't see. I don't see nothing good on that, so we'll skip that one. BA is good. We have that one. GLSI, we looked at it, guys. I don't like what I'm seeing there. We looked at that already. Gore up 21%. Grr, yeah, 1.9 million. Could be interesting. Let's take a look at the correct daily. Yeah, I was gonna check. What's the float on this? 6.4. Yeah, you definitely got the volume. I don't like that you're dropping now. They gapped up so much and now you're on the way down here, so I don't like that. And most of the move was last night too, so yeah, I'm not sure. Something about this, I'm just not liking the way it's setting up here. It looks like it's just gonna slam back down to the target over here, and we don't have shares for sure anyway, so yeah, we'll skip away from that one. Levi's we looked at. I mean, it's just Levi. It just doesn't trade well, even with news, guys. It has news on it. It's up 5%. You can put it on your list. Just kind of get a feel for, especially if you're new, what we're talking about. Because me and Norm, we've seen this stock so many times. Again, today might be completely different. We might be completely off. But if I'm going to put my chances on something, I want to watch something that I know can trade very well, like a BA. I know BA is hot today. Look at this. And not hot in a good way, hot in a bad way, because it's burning right at the moment. I want to see something like that because I know they can put a pretty good price action there. All right, looks like we got through all of those in our chat room. This is what happens when you have such a small list. You can get through things. Let's go over to our YouTube chat, see what we have here. CCL is on deck. BCTX. Let's take a look at that one from Moonman. Moonman is giving us BCTX. Daily is not great, and also the price action right now on the pre-market is at it's up 3.7, 180. What's the float on this? I'm not liking what I'm seeing so far though on this one, and it's a 4.6. So again, anything lower than 20 million, I want to see some really good volume like this one here. C, this is good. You got a 2.2 million shares traded, is up 70%. You got some movement here. It's starting to get a little bit better too, if you can see here the way these patterns are forming. So that could be a good one for today for a low flow. So under 20 million, guys, we want to see something similar to this. And this is not even the best example. We've seen better for sure. Apple is on deck. Apple is good. ONCY. No volume here, so we'll skip on that one. We want to see at least 100,000 or so. QCOM. Not QCon, QCOM. We don't want that one. That's the fake one. This one here is no activity, guys. Just no volume right now. Their daily's been consolidating here. I'm not sure if they have any news coming out, but it's definitely not in play this morning with what I'm seeing right now. OSTK. All right, OSTK here. Yeah, not in play neither. I see what you're looking at the daily for a possible bounce. We bounced from this 62 a couple of times, maybe a continuation today, but I'm not seeing great volume on this one here. Sun W, is this the bank? Sun W, I'm not sure. Sunworks. Okay, this is different. Very light on the volume, guys. Up 2.4. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything good there. The volume is just too light this morning for it to be on our list. Okay, what else we have? Shop is very difficult to trade.
If you're gonna spam the chat, at least pick something decent. That's not it.
Did they spam the
hadn't
chat?
even-
Oh, I didn't scroll down. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it hadn't even traded 10,000
No.
shares.
And even when it trades some shares, it is a brutal stock to trade. Man, sitting at
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
I didn't know this thing has a 1,200 yet. Wow. I just remember when it was at 8. Man. All right. So yeah, that's no good, guys. Neo. Let's take a look at Neo. Neo this morning. Neo could be interesting. Doesn't have the volume. Maybe a possible. Doesn't really have much volume.
Putting in a pennant here on the daily.
Yeah, right. So that you can see it here. Kind of interesting. I don't think today it's Friday. Who knows? But yeah, that might be interesting. I'm gonna put it on here. We'll do levels for that, just in case. What's the time? All right, 8:55. We're early. Nice. So let's do some more. Uber's again. The day looks great, guys. Pre-market, not much going on there right now. Let's look at. Did we look at PLTR already? Yes, we did. PLTR.
I feel like a bouncer again this morning.
What was that?
I feel back about the year when Levi Strauss was founded. I was a bouncer.
Yes, I know that.
Again this morning.
You're blocking some of the stocks from getting into our list, man. I love it. That's the way to do it. Well, F Wonk, he was trying to get in there, and you just said, just give him the stiff arm. Love it, love it. All right.
That was a fake ID.
That was a fake ID. Oh man, a poorly made one. Here is Foxtrot Uniform Tango Uniform. This one is down 3.2 this morning. 98,000 shares traded. Again, you could watch their daily is interesting though. It's getting better though. Their daily, right? Look at this.
Look at
this
language, guys.
Yeah, careful with that. Just look at it here, how choppy it is, and then here it's starting to get a better connection, right? Right? I mean, Norm, am I wrong here? I mean, is it starting to look a little better? I know it's not the best, this stock here.
F you to you?
That one right there.
Yeah.
It's starting to get a little better. I don't know. Let's see.
I see what you did.
It's Friday. All right, guys. We'll put that on there, and I think that is about it. Let's go over to our community events and see what we have going on for next week.
All right, guys. Benzinga webinar is posted. Next week, we've got Thor's much anticipated pivot session part 3, Tuesday night, 8 p.m. So check out my man Thor next week. All right. The Kenneth Reed webinar and game theory, that is posted as well. Next week, we're going to have Mike on Wednesday, 8 p.m. talking about reestablishing positive mindset after a losing streak. And I was talking to Dr. Katz yesterday. We're going to have something very similar coming up on Monday, Mindful Monday next week. So be on the lookout for that. BBT member trade of the day and trade of the week. If you want to participate in this, take a screenshot of your best trade that day. Should obviously have entries and exits so we can see the trade, and then any kind of commentary you can put on there to describe it. Post it on Twitter, tag @BearbullTraders, @MikeB_BBT, and @NormBBT. Also use the hashtags BBT family, day trading, and stock market. We will announce the winner each day for trade of the day on Twitter. And then, there's massive machinery outside the front of my house. I don't know if y'all can hear that. And then we'll take all the trades of the day, and we will vote over the weekend. The team will, and the trade of the weekend will be announced on Monday on Twitter. All right. I forgot to fix this one.
Norm, you're giving us 0%. You're 0% off on
0% off. The low price of 0% off. All right. If you're watching on YouTube, want to try out the room, use the promo code premarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro price. And 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, includes the onboarding and tech classes Monday nights. Doesn't auto renew, turn into anything else. Also, if you want that 40% off, that's a 40, not 0%. Use the promo code SPRING40, and you can get a discount 40% off the annual elite membership. All
right, excellent. Thank you, Norm. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's start looking at our list here this morning, starting with Fubo on the top here. So right now, Fubo is looking good. I like their pre-market action. That will stay there. Mara is on deck, guys. Again, this one's been very, very active. Let's see if today we can spot a good price action on this one. They tend to be a little bit I want to say choppy. It's just the flow of the volume is a little bit different. It's not as fluid as you will see like on an Apple, on a Neo. So that's a lot more fluid, right? Even BA has great price action. JKS, guys, I do like to drop on this one 10%. I like that we lost this level of support here. Their pre-market action is not looking the best, but I want to keep an eye on this one. That could be the sleeper for today. CCL is good, guys. Tons of volume there as well. Apple is good. A lot of stuff coming back down, as you can see here. This is very active, 1.1. BA getting slammed this morning with some negative news there, so that'll be interesting. And we also have a Neo. So we got a pretty good list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can do 7. We are a little bit ahead of time, 9 a.m. Exactly here. So we can do 7 today, and then I'll fine tune that a little bit later. All right, let's do levels for Fubo this morning. Right now, you're stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, right? So you've seen this area consolidation right over here around 23, and the bottom of that is going to be 20, 21, 20, 78. Looks like right on there, right? So we've just been banging our heads back and forth here. We'll love to see this break out. I think that would give us a nice little push towards the upside there. High of the pre-market is already basically listed here. 2290 is, and this is your high from 2 days ago, but 2290 to be exact is your high of your pre-market. Above that, great daily level at 2024 right on there, so that's a good one also. And then just in case we run 2514 as well. Towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market sitting over here very early on, not with a whole lot of volume, 2180. But you got some interesting levels in here as well, guys. It's 2234. I'm going to mark that there because you do got some action there when the volume does start to come in a little bit in the pre-market. I want to keep an eye on that. And if you're going from 2180 to 2234 or 2023 to 2234, that is a very, very decent move. So I'm going to throw a level on there as well. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, you're pretty much covered there. Here is Mara this morning. Again, hopefully we can get something good. Their price action yesterday, their chart looks great yesterday and the day before as well. So 52.91 or 52.99. High of the pre-market right there. Towards the bottom, the low of the pre-market just slightly above the previous day close, which is this block, that dotted line right on there. For anyone joining us new, make sure you subscribe and like. We definitely appreciate you guys being with us this morning. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days got you covered, so you pretty much have everything there. Now, above this 52.99 level, you got a couple of days here, just 2, 57.08 could be a great level here. You can go into the intraday here and find some more levels because this is a big gap. Obviously, you don't expect to just jump from here to there. There might be some areas of consolidation within these days, maybe like an hourly chart. You can find some good stuff happening there that you can put some levels on. Here we go, JKS. Again, big drop this morning down to 34.12. I'm going to put a level there. Towards the top, we do have a little bit of a level here. A couple of days of 37.90. We were not able to hold that 37.90 or the level above that, which is the 38.94. So really slamming down this morning. Towards the top, guys, if you look quickly here, you have a whole lot. So we don't need to add anything above towards the top. Now, towards the bottom, if we keep going towards this 34.12, I'm going to look over to our left. Let's zoom in here. What do we have on the daily? Again, remember that this thing ran up. Just this is insane here. We do have one here, 31.17, and right here, this is a good one here, 28.23. I don't think we'll get there. That's very, very far out, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Here is CCL, guys. Again, very active. Great day yesterday towards the downside right out of the gates, and then it did recover towards the mid-morning, later at noon time frame, right? Low of the pre-market 28.33. We'll put a level there. Towards the bottom, you do have the low from yesterday right on here. Also hitting some moving averages. Look how great this level is, right? If you look at this drop, let's look at it. We have time. Let's look at it. Yeah, let's take a look. Whereas this was yesterday. Look at this, right to the T. This thing slams down and then shoots back up, and then from there, obviously, it stayed above this 28. And then did a beautiful reversal yesterday. So CCL was very, very clean yesterday. Now, if we go back here, remember that bounce we had right on here? No coincidence. If you look at this daily, it doesn't look great. But if you look at it closely, this line here, you got tons of support happening here. Prior resistance, right? Here, resistance couldn't get above that. Finally, it does gap up above that, slams back down. Again, more resistance. And then finally, when it is able to stay up here for a couple of days, it becomes support. right? So you want to put a lot of weight on that line there. That support resistance line has some, it's been battle tested, as we say here. So you definitely want to keep that on your list there. 2704 is a good one. Great area of a lot of support there, a lot of resistance that cannot be support if CCL decides to drop this much. I don't think it will though. Here is Apple, guys. Apple giving a little bit back this morning after such a great couple of days here. High of the pre-market 130.69. Their pre-market low is being continued to be created here, but we'll put in 129.30 for now. That's going to change if it continues to drop. We can always update it. Outside from that, towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days doing a pretty good job for you there. You do not need to add any more. Towards the top, if we can recover and go green here, we have 132.07 as well. So we'll keep an eye here on Apple and some of the other tech companies that are moving well the last couple of days, giving a little bit back this morning. Here's BA. They have, again, some not great news about stopping some 737s from flying. High of their pre-market 256.88. Right now, down 1.6 with 429,000 shares traded. Their pre-market low, I'm not going to mark it down just yet. Right now, we're kind of flirting with this low from 2 days ago. So this day right on here, that's the low that we're kind of flirting with now. Pre-market low is a little bit below that. Let's see if they're going to continue to drop towards this next level, which is the low from yesterday. So we have that there as well. If we were to lose both of those, we do have 247.94, great area of resistance, a couple of days slamming their heads over here. And then you also have this one here finding a little bit of support around that 247.94. All right, here's NEO. NEO's just stuck between the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, just right in the middle. Right in the middle of that. Above that, their high of their pre-market is basically their previous day close. I'm going to mark down the low of the pre-market, 38.17. Norman and I were looking at this daily. It's just kind of trading into a pegnet here. So hopefully that can do something today. We'll see. It is Friday, so maybe not. They don't have great volume, only 672. We've seen NEO trade a lot more than that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, some possible ones here. This one, it's okay. It's dropping. It's just their daily looks a little bit better. That's FU2U there. PRVB. This one, again, I like the big gap down here. We'll keep an eye on it. EBON, no, I don't think it looks good right now. It would have been nice for a breakout here, but again, their pre-market action just doesn't look great. It hasn't gotten any better neither. AFMD, this one's got a pop here, 35%, some good volume. Let's see if this can hold. And what was the float on this one again? AFMD. Just confirm here. We're sitting at 108, so larger float. Let's see what's going on there. We do have Rice here for a possible continuation today. We do not have shares for short, so that concerns me. We can't play towards the downside. I mean, although it would be scary to do that anyways. I'm going to remove it from my list. I think today could just be very choppy. Here's Tiger, continues to drop 5%. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to remove this one too, just because again, I don't want it to get stuck in here and just be choppy for us. So let's get rid of that. I want to have a nice small list for this Friday, very fine-tuned. Here's PLTR. That one's a good one. We'll keep that one on there. And we do have Cell C down here. This one very active this morning. That's a low flow of the day today so far. So Fubo looks good. Mara looks good. JKS is okay. Maybe we'll bring it down to a possible because we know how choppy and this can trade, right? So we'll move that down. And I think we have our list. Fubo, Mara, CCL was great. Apple, BA, and NEO. So that's my list for today of my top 6 that I like so far. All right, let's take a look at our moderators lineup, guys. Let's see what we have for this Friday. I'm going to bring in our visuals right over here. There we go. Oh, come on. Why do you do that? There it is. All right, you should be able to see that. All right, let's starting with IPOs for today. Peter is giving us a VECT, RPHM, TPGS, and also a couple of SPACs opening up there. I'm not going to spell those out, but there they are. John is looking at Facebook and PayPal this morning for his breakouts. Thor, CCL, Twitter, Snap, and MU. So he'll be watching for the tech sector today as well. Dima, she is looking at Rise, CAN, Fubo, and CCL. Mike is looking at Facebook, SQ, and PayPal. And Peter, his list today, AFMD, BA, Fubo, secondary list, AMD, CCL, and NEO, very similar to what I have on my list as well, besides AMD. Tiffany, CCL, Fubo, Mara, and BA on her list this morning. So, all right, looking pretty good for this Friday, guys. We do have a couple of minutes left. It's a beautiful thing about having such a short gappers list to go through. Brian has given us his list. He's looking at Fubo, GL, SI, BA, and Blink this morning. That's his list for today. So let's take a look. Some people are looking at PayPal in our moderated lineup. Let's see what PayPal looks like today. PayPal is dropping. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm just gonna add it. I'm done with my list here. I'm just gonna add it as possible. So we'll keep an eye on it here. What I like the fact about the community is that I got few people watching that stock. So if they call something out, we could definitely take advantage of it as well. So PayPal getting a little bit of a drop this morning after a nice run the last couple of days. And another one that people were mentioning that I saw on here was, oh no, we have Fubo. Fubo is on there already. Okay. Excellent, guys. Well, that is all we have, folks. Brian and Andrew are up next, taking us through the open. So looking forward to this market and this Friday. Let's see what the market is going to give us today, guys. So with that said, trade safe, guys. Have an amazing weekend. This market has been a lot of fun to trade. This Friday has been a lot of fun to trade. So again, just make sure you continue to work on your discipline. Be very, very patient. Wait for the setups. Review your trade book. Have it right in front of you, so you know that you're looking at exactly what you're looking for is what's showing up on the charts, and you're not just kind of making things up or being too flexible with your entries and exits or the strategy that you're trading. So go into this weekend knowing that you traded very well, disciplined, and not to think about it as far as, man, why did I do that? And have to wait 2 days to be able to redeem yourself again, right? So very, very important, guys. Again, take care, guys. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Norm and I really, really appreciate it. So make sure you do that this morning, and we will see you guys on Monday. Take care, guys. Stay safe.